Scientists and environmental activists say that deforestation across Africa is a cause to many long-term socio-economic problems that afflict the continent. Trees not only provide a habitat for animals, they also play a key role in the fight against climate change. VOA's Jackson Mvunganyi reports on an initiative in South Africa that seeks to engage local communities in tree planting activities, both in the cities and in the rural areas.
In Africa, millions of households use wood on a daily basis to cook their meals and for other energy needs. This dependence has resulted in a high rate of deforestation in both rural and urban areas. Figures show that in several sub-Saharan African countries, the rate of deforestation exceeds that of the global annual average. In South Africa, a tree planting initiative named Greenpop is seeking to reverse this trend. Its co-founder, Misha Tisdale, says that his organization, which already planted 5,000 trees in the last year, hopes to plant 8,000 more this year.
So for me, trees are an incredible thing. I mean, I think they're largely taken for granted, I suppose, because we're so disconnected from how the world has consistently given us resources. You know, every breath we draw, we get trees. Trees provide for, I don't know how many millions of different medications and medicines. Resources, these bookshelves and tables and chairs that we're sitting on, we're so inextricably connected to trees. 40% of our clothing material comes from a tree pulp. We'd be half naked right now if we didn't have trees.
Right. Studies show that while deforestation in the developed world is mainly caused by logging and other commercial activities, the leading causes in Africa, specifically in urban areas, is associated to social and economic inequality.
When you look at the leafy, green, privileged suburbs where the minority live, and then the very not leafy, not green at all, and a lot of, I suppose, lack of pride of place, reason to celebrate the spaces people live in. And we saw this, we'd seen this many times in the work that we'd done and the volunteering we'd done, and we thought, what a great way to get people to connect around something that's so beautiful and neutral, put a smile on your face. It's a legacy in itself. You know, the metaphor around planting a tree is, we're talking about hope here. And to get South Africans to connect over these neutral activities was a beautiful way of bridging those social gaps.
So you started off in Cape Town, your community, but you moved on. Can you tell us about your journey? How many other places have you planted trees so far, and where else are you going to go next?
So we have various projects around sub-Saharan Africa, but our main project is called Greenpop Zambia. It's a festival of action where people can come from all over the world, plant trees, permaculture, food forests, environmental wall murals, natural building courses, rocket stoves, solar cookers, and give people a reason to celebrate. So bring bands and poets and environmental speakers and people that are celebrated, dancers, musicians, all sorts of people that can come together and talk, start dialogue, and then act.
According to the UN, the world has lost over 80% of its trees in the last decade alone. Scientists warn that if this trend is not countered by tree planting operations across the continent, the economies and livelihoods of many African communities would be threatened. For VOA, I'm Jackson Mvunganyi in Washington.